a brown leather interior with nice piping, crazy, wonderful stitching throughout the vehicle, and all sorts of goofy, crazy electronic tricks. It sounds like I'm talking about BMW, but I'm actually talking about this, a Chevy Traverse High Country, and it comes with the BMW price tag at nearly $60,000. As I mentioned, this is the Traverse High Country, and it is a 3-row family SUV, and it is bordering on luxury territory in both features and price. We're going to take a look at it today and see if you should be considering buying one. A huge thanks to Kuhn Chevy Buick GMC of Clarksville, especially Toby, for letting us take a look at this vehicle. If you're interested in buying a new Chevy and you live in the Maryland area, a link to their website will be in the description below. A big thanks to you all for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing to Gas Guzzlers for weekly car reviews. Let's get into it. Now let's talk about the exterior looks of the vehicle. First of all, I really like this grille. Nice large chrome, and they kind of separate it into two sections. I think it's a really sharp look. You also have just these LED daytime running lights right here and these nice headlights to complement it, and fog lights down here. Overall, I think it is a handsome design, really nice mix of curves and angles. Now let's talk about the side of the vehicle. You do have these really nice 20-inch polished aluminum wheels. They look absolutely fantastic. Chevy always knocks it out of the park with rims. This is a $995 pearlescent tri-coat white. It looks really fantastic. Does it look $1,000 fantastic? That is up to you. You do have heated mirrors here, and they do have your turn signal in them and your blind spot warning, of course. You do have some running boards down here. They're not deploying or anything fancy like that, but can help if you need to get in the vehicle and you need a little assistance. This is a dealer installed roof rack right here. It's about $1,000, so that is something to note. If you want that, you can get that dealer installed. And I like how your taillights wrap around onto the side. General profile of this vehicle is pretty handsome, like what they did with the C-pillar right there. I think it looks really good. Overall, just a generally attractive vehicle. The rear of the vehicle is a really attractive one as well, continuing that theme around the vehicle of a nice combination of curves and angles. Really nice LED taillights right here. Really nice High Country badge. I love how Chevy put some work into that rather than just writing out High Country. When you're paying nearly $60,000, that's the type of detail you expect. This vehicle does have a foot activated liftgate. It's just to the left of center. So you just kick. Let's give it another try. There it goes. So second try. I find this one is pretty good at detecting your foot. You're going to find about 23 cubic feet of cargo space with the third row up. Dropping that is going to give you about 57.8 cubic feet of cargo space. Dropping all 3 rows is going to give you about 98.2 cubic feet of cargo space. The third row is power folding, which is awesome. You have 2 buttons over here, and you can independently control the left and right seats. So then you can actually fold them back up too, which is really cool. They move at a nice speed, really nice to see. Not really an easy way to get to the second row. You're gonna have to go around for that. Overall, really nicely designed cargo area. Now let's talk about the trims and features you can get on the Traverse. Starting at $30,995, the base L trim is going to get you 18-inch silver painted wheels. You're also getting cool features like a teen driver mode and a 7-inch infotainment screen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Starting at just over $34,000, the LS is going to get you tinted rear windows. It's also going to get you some nicer trim around the vehicle, and you get some access to different options packages. At $36,595, the LT Cloth is going to get you an 8-way power adjustable driver seat with lumbar. You're also getting bucket seats in the rear, and you're getting a heated mirror with turn signal. At $40,295, the LT Leather is going to get you rear backup assistant. It's also going to get you blind spot monitoring, and you are also getting leather appointments. At $44,795, the RS gets you essentially a blackout package, these really cool 20-inch rims, and it just gets you some unique looks to the RS trim. At $46,995, the Premier is going to get you wireless charging. You're also getting ventilated seats in the front and outboard second row heated seats. At just over $52,000, the High Country, like what we have today, is going to get you adaptive cruise control and a power folding third row, along with 20-inch special wheels. Let's talk about safety. This high-end High Country is coming with features like auto emergency braking with pedestrian detection. You also have lane keep assist and lane change alert. You also have rear blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. Under the hood, you will find a 3.6-liter V6 engine putting out around 310 horsepower and around 266 pound-feet of torque. You can expect around 20 miles to the gallon in combined. That's 17 in the city and 25 on the highway. Overall, just a really nice engine. It can actually surprisingly tow almost up to 5,000 pounds when this thing's properly equipped, which is really impressive.
So moving to the interior of the Traverse, the first thing you're going to notice is just how good this interior looks. You have a bunch of really beautiful brown materials, this suede on the door handle, as well as some wood. It's a really good grouping of materials that give it a very luxurious look. Included is there also the High Country badge on the seat, which just lets you know that you're in a high trim Traverse. There's a bunch of really nice soft touch materials all around, but the one place you won't find them is on your center console area, which is probably to avoid wear and tear, but it can be kind of annoying if you bump your knee into it driving, but you have so much space up here that that's very unlikely. Continuing on the seating area, these seats are absolutely incredible. They're so cushy, they're soft. You could go a long road trip with this and it would be perfectly fine. So let's talk about the mileage system in the Traverse. It's a very easy to navigate system. As you can see, everything is clearly located and labeled. It's very snappy as well. It works well. It comes with good features like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It also has a decent camera system, which has a bunch of different views, as well as the steering line. So as I turn the wheel, you see it moves well. There's also a drone camera, which is not as good as some drone cameras you might see on some higher end cars, but it is still a nice feature to have to get a good sight around the car. And the one physical button this does come with is the home button, which is just below, which if you're in the camera, you have to press that to get home. Now let's talk about the gauge cluster of the Traverse, and one thing to note is just how bland of a system it is. Even just by physical appearance, it's not the most attractive system, but it really just gets the job done. It has a pretty small digital display in the center, which is customizable via buttons over on the steering wheel, which you can use to, of course, move around. You can customize what shows up, your speed warnings, all that stuff. It's a pretty basic system, and I don't think it compares well to systems of the competitors like the Ford Explorer, which has a much more customizable and better looking digital system. Now let's talk about the storage offered by the Traverse. Starting on the passenger side, you have this one little nook down here which can't really hold much, but it's a cool little space. Big glove box. This can definitely hold a good amount of materials. And then on your door, you have, of course, your standard little cubby here that's more as a backup door handle. This lower area, which really isn't too wide, so it probably can't hold that much, but it could be a good place to put a phone or a wallet. And you also have this very small place up here, which probably can't hold much more than a pen or a pencil. Moving to the center, of course, you have your phone charging area, which is very good. And there's these little ridges along here that make it so your phone won't move, which is a very thoughtful feature. You have your cup holders here, which really are just, they don't have those little knob things, so they aren't super adjustable. You can only effectively hold one size cup, which is a bit of a problem, but it's not a big deal. Moving into here, it's kind of a small area actually. You usually expect a little bit more from a vehicle of this size, but I think they really put that attention into giving this a nice big area. You do have this kind of dated looking light, but it's just a light, doesn't have to look great. You have the tray up here in a decently deep area underneath. Moving out of the driver's side to the back side, you have your square-shaped door handle pocket for a cup, which is kind of a weird shape for that, but whatever. You also have the pseudo door handle next to it, and that same little space from the front, which can hold maybe another pen, even though that could probably hold 5 or 6. Another really small area down here, and one issue I could see is this is a pretty deep area with a sort of a divider. So unless you have like a water bottle there, that could be an area small objects get lost in. Moving into the back, you have your standard back pocket, though that is very small compared to what you usually see. Coming to look at the back of the center console, you have this little area down here, which is surprisingly deep, as well as some charging outlets like you have in the front. And of course, over here, it's the exact same thing as the other side. Finally, we get to the back, which once again, same thing on every side. You have your square cup holders. Once again, that's kind of an interesting design choice. I don't know why they went for square, as well as the charging outlet up here. Overall, this storage is pretty good. There's no areas that really are special in terms of storage that you might see in some other vehicles, but it's adequate. So, getting into the Chevy Traverse, get in, start it up, and start talking about the buttons. So, nice thing to note how everything's easy to reach, easy to access. Bunch of really nice feeling buttons on the steering wheel. You can use heated steering wheel. You have your buttons over here to customize the center screen. Door handle, once again, you have pretty solid buttons. They are plastic, which is maybe a small complaint of yours, but it's practical, not a big issue. Over here, you have some really nice feeling knobs for the temperature and audio, as well as a bunch of other just assorted buttons for things like seat, climate. And then moving down to the center area, once again, nice feeling knob to switch the drive, put it in trailer mode. You have your cup holders, which have this kind of cool silver lining, interesting feature. I'm not big into it, it's more just a design thing. And then you have the gauge, which is pretty good feeling, nothing special there either. Overall, it's a very good looking interior, some really nice feeling buttons and gauges, but nothing super special. So now let's talk about the middle row of the Traverse, and this is a really nice area to be a passenger in. You have very comfortable seats. Once again, they're nice and soft, like up in the front. You also have these nice, like, handrails, which you can move up if you don't want, but they're very comfortable, so I would suggest having them down. Moving to your center area, this is a nice area as the passenger can control their own climate, which is nice. You can control your fans and your temperature. And you have some charging things down here. However, the vents, they decided to place the vents up on the ceiling, which is a bit of an interesting choice as it is nice to have them down here, but this does allow more of the body to feel the cold air or the warm air depending on the temperature. But they are kind of a dated look. Nothing special, but it does make them easy to point. Continuing on the ceiling, you have a second sunroof, which is really nice, but the issue with these sunroofs is they're kind of a weird system. You have to push forward to get it to go back, and it can be a very janky system to get working versus maybe just a simple latch or just a simple button press. But it is nice to have that back here. So now let's get into the back of the Traverse. It's a bit of a tight fit, but it's nothing too bad. You can see you can easily just squeeze between these seats to get into the back. Now, like most third rows, this isn't that accommodating if you're gonna have multiple adult passengers. So this is where Jake would sit, and he's rather large, 6 feet tall, so this is a very tight fit for my knees. But this is actually a pretty solid back. You have vents as well as little charging outlets on each side and cup holders. So they do have some amenities for the passengers.
Let's talk about price. The High Country comes well equipped, but this one has some additional options like the Hit the Road package, which includes those dealer installed roof racks. It also has a variety of floor mats and that $995 paint, bringing the total out to $56,980 MSRP.
So that wraps up our view of the Traverse. And what do we think of it? I think personally it's a really good vehicle. Our cameraman gave it a 3 out of 5 stamps of its approval, mostly because it does kind of get outdone by its main competition, the Ford Explorer. It's a really well polished vehicle, but compared to the Explorer, it's kind of boring and lacks some of the sharper edges that just put the Ford Explorer ahead. Overall though, still a very good vehicle and definitely worth it. Once again, thanks to Koons, Chevy, Buick, and GMC of Clarksville for giving us this awesome vehicle. And if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you later.